Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies, coming at you with another Marvel Crisis Protocol tutorial. As of recording this video, as in today, the last episode of Season 1 of She-Hulk was released, and I brought the first season to a close. I found it very enjoyable, and I'm very much looking forward to future seasons of the show. So to celebrate the awesome show, I decided to paint up my She-Hulk, which I've had in my collection of Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures for quite some time. So I'm going to show you guys how to get this painted up using Games Workshop paints. A couple of contrasts and a few quick layers are going to get you a really tidy result ready to smash its way onto the tabletop. So stick around, enjoy the video. Okay, and here she is, She-Hulk. Ripping an iron girder out of a building, preparing to throw it at some crazy enemy. So I sprayed the model Grey Seer, and I used that as the base coat for the contrast. I then moved over to the Striking Scorpion Green contrast. It's one of the newer contrasts by Games Workshop. And I applied that all over the skin. Now, what I've said a million times before about working with contrast is to make sure you get a nice smooth coat that's not pooling. Stick to one piece of the miniature at a time. So for instance, I'm going to work from midway up her thigh down to her boots. That one section of exposed skin will be the first thing that I focus on. I will apply contrast to the entire piece, and then I will wait a few seconds to see where it's pooling or if it's going to settle in any bad ways, and then I use the brush to once again scrape that away. It's a very simple technique, but once you get the hang of that, you will not have nearly as much pooling issues as the internet would lead you to believe having. There you go, there's one leg perfectly coated with contrast. And like that, I then just move to the next section and the next section. Models like this are fantastic because obviously there's only, 2 arms, 2 legs and a head showing through her suit. So I can break up the miniature very, very easily and apply contrast where needed. Once contrast has been applied to those areas, we're then going to move on to the purple. So I'm going to go for Luxion Purple, which is another one of the new contrasts. The new contrast gave us a variety of nice purples, which we didn't really have in the earlier contrast range, so I'm excited to use them. And following the box art to know where to place the purple, because this suit is broken into like a beigey color and a purple color. So I just followed the example on the box as to where these colors went, and then I took my time applying them. I'm actually not going to do anything to the beige section until after the shade. I'm going to leave the Grey Seer as the base coat for that. And then after the shade stage, that's when we can really look at that textured piece of fabric. This is actually the second Marvel Crisis Protocol miniature I have on my channel. The first one was actually the Hulk. So far I've only painted 2 Marvel miniatures and they're both Hulks, which is kind of bizarre, but a lot of fun. Dark Angel's green is used for her hair. Slightly different to the TV version. I'm going by the box art, which is a blue comic book accurate, which will give her green tinted hair. The iron girder is actually something that I didn't really put a lot of kind of attention in painting this miniature, as I'm so used to painting 40k miniatures and they're supposed to be grim and dark that I just left this girder as kind of a bright steel, like it's a fresh piece of steel. There's not really any such thing as a fresh piece of steel in the 41st millennium, so it was a bizarre exercise in restraint painting to not go crazy and like rust it up and add pigments or streaks or anything like that. I just left it as a Nuln Oil washed piece of silver, and I think it suits just fine. And obviously there's lots of crazy colors throughout this miniature with her toxic green skin that I didn't really want to add anything that would take away from the center of the miniature. So here's all the base coats on. It's time now to wash the miniature. So I'm going to go for Nuln Oil. Now this is the new Nuln Oil in the 18mm pots. The reason that is important is because it is a thinner consistency. So if you have an old pot of Nuln Oil, which is the 24mm pot, and you apply it over this miniature, it's going to go a lot darker than what I'm doing here. So if you want to follow on exactly, try and get yourself a pot of the new Nuln Oil. If you're okay with going darker and then just building up the layers further later on, you can of course do that. But just be aware that results may vary. So while the Nuln Oil was drying, I also knocked out the base on this miniature. So I've got a nice kind of platform to paint up from. and I moved over to trusty Moot Green to begin the layering process of the skin. I just took my time and gave the skin a nice clean coat, leaving all of the definition between all the muscles, which is obviously the striking scorpion washed with black. And just hit all of the raised portions of skin. So everything that's going to have more light, so pointing upwards, is what we're going to use the Moot Green for. This is just a stage you need to be patient with. Some sections of it are going to require, say, two coats, whereas some will just need the one quick coat. But this stage is what's really going to bring the miniature to life, is getting that skin tone correct. Going across to the face, just like normally highlighting a face, we're just going to go along with the Moot Green and hit all the important parts. So nose, high cheekbones, chin, forehead, and any of the other parts of it we're going to leave dark and recessed shaded. I definitely want to go through and start working my way through the actual starter box of Marvel Crisis Protocol, which is the first thing that I bought and have yet to have a single painted miniature from. But I would like to have that painted up as a full complete set. So maybe drop in the comments below which one of those miniatures I should paint up first. So here's a quick layer job on the skin, and now it's time to go into that beige color like we were talking about earlier. So for this I chose the Celestra Grey, which I know really isn't a beige. Beige is probably the wrong color for what her super suit is. But just a quick layer job. Once again, leaving all the creases and all of the shadows in all the recesses. And just using Celestra Grey, almost like a feathering technique, just to make her super suit pop. Once again, I had the box art close to hand with this particular piece, making sure I hit all the right parts. For instance, in this section, I nearly forgot to layer up her sneakers. But it's nice leaving the shadow right down the center of her stomach. That really helped to add the kind of definition to the model. Phoenician Purple was used to highlight the rest of her suit. This is a nice dark, rich royal purple. The purple was actually a problem point for me, trying to get the right tone. Phoenician Purple is the closest that I had. But if you have the box in front of you and you have a purple out there from Vallejo or Army Painter or any of those other ones that you think is closer to the one that's on the box art, go for it. I think the Phoenician Purple does a good enough job. But I know how some people can be quite particular. Nothing wrong with that. And with that done, I left it there as a simple, fast and effective way to paint up She-Hulk, ready for the tabletop. I have a lot of Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures to get through, so I'm going to be looking at videos like this that help you get them done quickly. Okay guys, and there we have it, one completed She-Hulk miniature ready for the tabletop of Marvel Crisis Protocol. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure that you throw a like down below. If you have any questions about anything I do or any suggestions on any other Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures I should add to this playlist, please drop in the comments below and I will get back to each and every one of you guys. If you like what I do and want to support me even further, the easiest way you can do that is hit that subscribe button. And if you really like what I do and want to support me even further than that, there's links to things like my Patreon below, which will give you access to my private Discord server where me and all of my patrons get to hang out on a daily basis. We have community showcases and of course painting competitions on the way. So lots of good things to look forward to if you join up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.